well, after riding the struggle bus for a little while, I did get the channel chiseled deep enough for the truss rod, although I'm kind of questioning whether it should go just a little bit deeper or not. Maybe not. Maybe this is good. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But I did get the correct router bits now. So I have a couple of router bits for doing truss rods and for doing the carbon fiber stiffening rods. And I am really considering doing the carbon fiber stiffening rods anyway, since I now have the router bits to do so. I don't know, I think it's probably not a stupid idea to just do it. So I think I'm gonna do that.
Did you bring them out here?
Yeah. So, and they always put this rubber gummy stuff on the end to protect the blades during shipping. So, that one came off surprisingly easy. Sometimes they kind of fiddly pain in the butt to get them off, but all right, so I have never used this attachment. But I'm pretty sure this is what I need to employ in order to make sure that it rides where I want it to along the side of the neck as I'm routering that. So, alright, so I think I got my blade depth set, I got my edge guide set, I'm set, mostly set. I wonder if I should. I'm gonna put a ton of pressure on it at this point, but I also don't want it to run away. Now the only thing I'm going to really have to watch here is it seems like right up here when I start to transition to the headstock, it starts to run off because of the curve away there. I really should have did this before I ended up cutting out the neck. So smart, so late here anyway. But so I think I'm going to have to just chisel that last little bit. Yeah. And then thought about maybe trying to work from the other side. That just doesn't sound safe. I'm just going to flip her around here quick. Okay. Yeah, they still kind of, yeah, right there, but I'm not 100% sure how long carbon fiber stiffening rods have to be honest. But,
So how do you cut that?
saw. Hacksaw. I think I do want to probably bring that up just a little bit farther though. Not ridiculously, but just a little. Okay. So, here we are. I do have a 1/4-inch chisel that's supposed to be coming one of these days, but it's been a while and I haven't seen it yet, so.
Where did you order it from?
Crimson, well, vintage tool shop. I don't know. I do agree with Ben on when you buy steel tools, it seems pretty clear. I mean, I've noticed it too, where older steel seems to last a lot longer and stay sharp a lot longer than modern steel, and I'm not sure why. And I'm sure someone who is into metallurgy and stuff like that probably has a better answer than an electrician who got into building guitars, but I think it probably has something to do with the way that steel is produced nowadays versus how it was produced, you know, 100 years ago or whatever. Now it's just do it fast. Well, back in the day it was more quality oriented. I could be wrong. I could be totally off base. Maybe it has something to do with the history of steel or something like that. I don't know. But it seems like so many other things, you know, our ancestors built to last, and modern day they're just built to be there as soon as we need it, and then as soon as it dies we buy another one.
Can't make any money if it's built to
That's
last.
true too. You know, if it's built too well, you buy it once and it's a lifetime tool or something like that. If it's a POS, you're gonna buy a new one in 5 years, depending how often you use it. But I mean, I've even noticed it with stuff as simple as like a pocket knife. You know, where an old pocket knife will hold a good sharp edge forever, it seems like. And modern pocket knives, I mean, unless it's a really expensive one, they suck almost immediately. Okay.
Don't you have one like on the wall?
Downstairs.
Oh, I thought you had one over there too.
No, this is my electrician one. But it still does the job. I use this one more for cutting EMT than I do for cutting this stuff, but and this is tiny, so it's kind of hard to get a grip on it. I wonder if I can clamp it to the table if I gotta. Nope. What if I put it in this one? I think it's closer to the tabletop. Well, a little better. Boy, this stuff's fun to cut. I think the teeth on this are a little too aggressive for this.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive. No? Cheerleader, I was not.
No, it's alright. Ooh.
Too bad we can't use this.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and use a cutter and see what happens. Hey, that's not too terrible. All right. Woo!
I'm glad I wasn't standing over there. Alright. Now we're good.
Okay, moment of truth.
Yay!
I'm still waiting to hear back from Ben on that. I'm hoping that's not a big deal.
Oh, the nut thing?
Yeah. Well, alrighty then. Now, I have seen guys resin these in before, but I don't know if I really want to, with mixing up resin just to put those in.
How else do you keep them in there?
Thought about maybe trying some thick super glue and going that route. Thick super glue shouldn't soak into the wood too much. Resin. Alright, I'm going to go mix up some resin here a minute.
A few moments later.
Alright, well. Got my resin mixed up. Got my Dexter gloves. You know, I have seen Ty Tyler, Shock the Fox, awesome builder, go check him out. But anyway, I have seen him use resin for a grain filler. I might try that in the future, but for right now, I'm just using it as a cement, if you will, to affix my carbon fiber stiffening rods in place so they don't wander off. I could use super glue. The problem with super glue especially the thinner super glues, is it has a tendency to soak into the pores of the wood, and it can discolor wood if it soaks in too deep. Then you've got spots on the backside of your wood project when you're done. Don't really want that, so we're going to go this route instead. Okay. It's awfully bubbly right now because I just got done mixing it, and I didn't put heat to it to get any bubbles out of it or anything, because I'm really not that worried about the bubbles here. It's not going to be visible anyway by the time I'm done. The syringe applicators are absolutely fantastic. By the way, everything I'm using here for resin is Total Boat. I like their resin. It works well. It's got a fairly decent open time to it, so
Oops.
oh, it looks like it got excited. But anyway, okay. PPE, people. Wear your safety glasses when you're doing this kind of stuff, because if it spooges and stuff like that, you know, you can always trim your beard if you have to, but it's kind of hard to trim your eyeballs. So
You got a lot in that one.
the other thing to be cautious of and aware of here, if you're not, resin activates and cures through heat. Okay, kind of like varnish. Okay, this stuff gets hot, and when I say it gets hot, I mean it'll start on fire hot. The wife, Mrs. Unit, is also rather crafty with different things. Not so much guitars, but you know, with other things. And at Easter, she had seen somebody who had made these Easter egg basket thingies. They looked like Easter eggs, but they were full of candy, and they're basically like spider webbed yarn that was cemented by glue. And of course my brain was like, well, she tried it with Elmer's and it didn't want to set up right.
I think I had the ratio off.
Yeah, anyway, so I said, well, let's try resin.
Holy crap.
So we soaked it in resin, and then I'm sitting there feeding her the string that was resin soaked while I'm sitting there feeding her the string that's resin soaked while we're wrapping it around the balloon, which is how it gets the egg shape. And it got so hot I thought it was going to melt my rubber gloves. I mean, it got screaming freaking hot. So just be aware of that with this stuff. Don't leave a cup like this sitting in your trash can. Don't dump the residual in your garbage or anything like that. Let it let it set up somewhere where it can get good and hot without starting a fire, like on concrete. Or the other trick that I've done more than once, and I do it every time I'm doing a varnish, like Minwax, stain or varnish or something like that, one of those that has a thermal activation. Dunk it in a bucket of water when you're done, and you have no more use for this. It's going to turn into a plastic slug here after a little while anyway, so it's not like you can bottle it and save it for later. It's going to turn into a plastic slug anyway. So when you're done with it and you don't have any more use for what you got there, throw it in a bucket of cold water. It might still get warm, but it's not going to get nearly hot enough to be a problem.
Speaking of that, I should go find a tub to put that in.
Yeah, a little butter tub or something like that, because it's just a little guy. Yeah, I'm just a little guy. I'm too afraid to get out.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh. No, it's not nuclear Armageddon. Although in the current political and global spectrum, that probably wouldn't be a surprising, or wouldn't be a outlandish thought to have. But that's just Iowa in the spring and summer and stuff. We blow the sirens every 6 p.m. And on Wednesdays at noon, the first Wednesday of the month, just to prepare for tornado season, because it's coming. I freak people out all the time talking about Iowa. It's like, you've seen Iowa winter, you've heard me complain about Iowa winter. People are like, okay, well the winters get bad, but what are your summers like? Oh, well, we get 98 degrees with a 110 heat index, and so yeah, we get everything from the Arctic tundra to the front porch of hell, and then on top of that, if that's not all fun enough, we also get tornadoes in the spring. So yeah, that's what that's for, just to make sure the siren's working when we need it. So.
How long does it have to be?
About 18 3/4 is what I need for a 22 fret on a 25.5-inch scale. I think I am going to just put it on there and take it down just a little bit, because I didn't cut it quite as evenly as I would have liked to. So I would like to even that out. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the length that I need, so I'm not sanding stuff I don't need.
You try your white pencils on there.
Yeah, just thinking the same thing. I don't know. The other thing, yeah, I'm going to use this side up, so this side doesn't really matter what it looks like. Maybe. There. Okay. I know it seems kind of silly, because I just got done looking at it and saying, oh, I like that side better. That side's going to be the top. But I just don't want to run the risk of being like, oh, let's get to work on this, and then realizing that what I did was on the bottom side. That would be terribly frustrating. So. hang on to that, 'cause I'm not sure what I'm going to use that for, but that's a nice little chunk of ebony yet, so maybe make a truss rod cover or something like that out of it. Okay, so next, drum sander. Gotta get that hooked up here. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm supposed to radius it before I cut the nut slots, or the fret slots. So, I would like to try and do a compound radius on this, and I have shorter radius blocks, and I think what I'm going to do then is try and hit this side with the 12, this side with the 16, and then kind of in the middle with 14 to try and even it all out.
We should order supper here pretty soon.
Woman, I'm in the middle of doing stuff.
Well, at least it's Friday.
Now, let's see here. Which side do I want to be? Not which side do I want to be? Bridge. I kind of think I want the nut here. And the reason I say that is this has a more striking, defined pattern. It gets kind of blurry here. And this is where the fret wires are going to be farther apart, so you see more of that striking pattern. Where down here, the fret wires are so close together, just the difference in color is going to make all the difference in the world. So I think that's the way we're going to go here. So what do I got here? I got a 12. And I got a 16. And I got no 14. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to kind of do an overlap in between the two of them then in the middle, and that should still get me fairly close to. Where the hell am I setting this? Over here. This will still get me fairly close to where I'm driving to. So,
Do you think we should order you a 14 one?
I don't know if they even make one. I bought a whole set. All right. There we go. What we got? 120, 60. 60 is pretty aggressive. I think I'm going to start out with 120.
What are those?
120 is still pretty aggressive.
What are those?
240 and 320.
Is that not?
Finer grit.
I can never remember how that works.
Alright, so I'm going to start out with 120 just to try and get down to the radius you know, take away the lion's share of the wood. And then once we get a little bit closer to where we need to be, then we will switch to a less aggressive grit for fine sanding, because this is going to leave tracks. You know, the other thing I'm thinking here, maybe I should have cut that to width first. Yeah. Okay. We might have to do some sawing here before we proceed further. Alright, so after much deliberation and whatnot, I think I'm going to saw it. I'm just afraid that if I try to do it with the router now, I mean, I'm going to get right up to that template like I want, except for the fact that I haven't lined it up with the neck yet, and I'm a little bit afraid that if I route it with a template and then put it on the neck, if it doesn't line up exactly right, then I've got an overhang or something like that, and then I've got to make it a shape that I wasn't after. If I saw it a little bit, leave just a tiny bit of overhang, then I can always throw it on the router table and route the fretboard to the sides of the neck. Just run a bearing on the side of the neck while the fretboard's routing. And the more I was thinking about it, I don't put the frets in yet, but I cut the fret slots now, so I don't have to worry about that just yet either. But anyway, so I think I'm going to go over to the bandsaw here and let's see what we can accomplish here. You want to hook this onto the back of the bandsaw. Trying to follow a pencil line on ebony is not the funnest thing I've ever tried to do. But definitely have it much closer to where I want it now than where it was. So, back to this again.
Do you have more of that glue?
I do. I have one more bottle of medium. Now there was a deal when I got it, when I bought 2 bottles of everything. So it was 2 thick, 2 medium, and 2 thin.
At least you got another bottle.
Yeah, except for the fact that the one I really only use all that much is the medium. The other ones just kind of sit on the shelf downstairs. I mean, every once in a while I need to use it, like the thick or something, but for the most part, the medium is the one I go to. Alright, so second attempt. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of my madness. Click like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.